Howdy y'all, and welcome to Lax Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. So, I know I said I was going to work on this off camera, but I've had a busy few days, and I simply didn't get the chance. Last Wednesday went in for my 6-ish month cleaning. I never make it in there every 6 months. So it was more like a... Ooh, I need to eat and drink. It was more like a 7-month cleaning. I think I was supposed to go in May, and I didn't make it till the end of June. Dude, I totally just put water and food on my hotbar. Can you give me a second? And then, so, I mean, that doesn't take up my whole Wednesday, but my Wednesdays are busy anyways, so I didn't get a chance to record anything on Wednesday. I had recorded my Thursday episodes previously. Will you dig out of here? Thank you. And so, Thursday I recorded my Friday episodes, which would have been this. And then Friday record my Saturday. Somewhere in there I hit a couple of snags, and I had to restart some levels. Or like, okay, so I'm doing this captive Minecraft thing, and the next thing is to fight the dragon, and so I am trying to get as many supplies together as I can, and that is eating up a lot of time, like hours of just digging, and so I had to stop filming that one actually because I have not managed to get enough supplies together. And then I've been playing this other one called Agrarian Skies, and I totally died, and it deletes your map when you die, and well, not when you die, but I completely died. I lost my last life, and so there's like no save to come back from. So I had to start that one over and work my way back up to where that was at, and then Saturday, one of my friends, Lego, he decided we should play Space Engineers together. So we did that all afternoon on Saturday, I think. Or maybe that was Friday. Maybe that's what I did on Friday. And then... was that Friday or was that Saturday? I can't remember. And then Sunday we've got, you know, normal family stuff. We always get together on Sunday, and so by the time we were done with that, oh, you know, I should be making up some building components here while I'm working on this. What's it called? It's a wood frame. And so then people are like, oh, well, at dinner time, you know, I'm thinking, all right, so I've got, I remember, and then Friday night, my sister and I have been watching through the pirate movies, and so we watched the last pirate movie. Well, I watched the last pirate movie. Everybody else left halfway through, not because the movie was bad, but because they've got little kids and they couldn't manage to watch the movie and have their little kids running around at the same time. And so they didn't tell me they weren't coming back, and so I waited like 45 minutes with the movie on pause, and then they finally told me, we're not going to be able to come back and watch the movie. I'm like, all right, that's fine, whatever. Just wish you'd have said something a little earlier than an hour later. And then it must have been Saturday when we played Space Engineers all afternoon. Oh, and I was watching Death Note. That ate up a lot of my time. All right, so maybe the Death Note thing was totally my fault. And then Sunday, my friend dropped his kids off, and we wound up watching his kids all day while he took his wife out to dinner for her birthday, dinner and a movie. And I wasn't expecting that. And not that I watched their kids, my sister watched the kids, but they were all here, and I can't really record while I started to, and then they're like yelling down the stairs and stuff, and then the guy's son wanted to come down and talk to me about Minecraft, so I'm like, whatever, that's fine. I give up. And so I was talking to him about Minecraft, and they don't have a computer that will run Minecraft, and I think they might have it on a tablet. They might be able to run Minecraft. He just doesn't want to share it. But he did buy his son an account. They're just waiting to get a computer they can run it on. They tried to run it on this old computer that they've got, and it wouldn't run. But I know they've got a laptop, but the father's always playing on the laptop and doesn't want to share the laptop, I guess, with his son. So, so then they were here until way late. And then when they came to pick up their kids, and I had to talk to my friend. Well, I didn't have to talk to him, I guess, but he came down to talk to me for a while about video games and some of the stuff he's been doing. He got me into EverQuest and EverQuest 2, and I played EverQuest 1 and 2 for years, and he would get into it, play for a while. Well, he played EverQuest 1 because of some people at his workplace were playing it and wanted to try it out. And then when he showed it to me, I'm like, ooh, I gotta play that. And then probably about 2 years maybe into EverQuest 1, he decided he was spending too much time playing it. And so he quit playing it, but I was still playing it, and I played it all the way up until my internet couldn't handle it anymore. And I don't know if that's a story I ever told. So, all right, let's talk about that. So, EverQuest is an MMO. It's one of the first MMOs. There was a few little ones and like maybe one big one before. Like Ultima Online is like, I think, the biggest MMO before it came out. And then EverQuest came out. And then once they got EverQuest up and going, those guys left to go make WoW, World of Warcraft. But I was already into EverQuest, and EverQuest is a lot more complicated than WoW. And I like my games a little more complicated. I lost my thingy. Where's my wood? I just chopped down all that wood. I need to go plant these trees too. Here we go. You make those. I'm gonna take these seeds and plant these trees. And so he left EverQuest, and I kept playing, and I joined a guild. And someday I'll tell the story of my guilds. Probably. At least my EverQuest guilds. I could probably talk about my EverQuest guilds. I'd never been in a guild before, and I don't even remember how I got into that first guild. There's a lot of grass out here stopping me from being able to plant these seeds. Really? You're not gonna plant any? And I remember we started playing, and then if I remember correctly, they opened PvP servers, and what in the world did I just do? That was weird. And is that what happened? Or maybe I'm pretty sure they opened PvP servers, and so the leaders of the it happened twice, so I can't remember if that was a time or not, but yeah, they left. Anyways, the leaders left, and they put a council in charge of the guild. Because being in a big raid guild is pretty major stuff, and so we were just starting out as a raid guild when they left, basically. And they were gone for a couple of years, probably. And in that time, we had got to the point where we were one of the top guilds on our server. And not the top, not even close to the top, really, but we were top of the mid-level guilds, and EverQuest was a little different than anything I was used to playing, and they had serious, like, 7-day lockouts on things, and so and then they didn't have instances. Everything's instanced now, and so if you didn't get the mob when it first came out, you didn't get the mob. And I mean, like, it would respawn, but it would be like 5 days or 3 days or something like that. And I remember they had the expansion pack Shadows of Lucklin was the name of it, and there was this, I think it was a worm or something, I vaguely remember. It's been years. And our guild had it locked down. Like, we knew what time it was going to spawn, what day it was going to spawn on, and it would spawn and we would kill it. And so we were the only guild killing it, which is pretty awesome. And most of the rest of the mobs that were like that were split up between American and Asian guilds because they raid at different times. And so if a guild can kill something and keep it killed at a certain time, then the other guilds will never get a chance at it. And so that was the thing that you did. And so that was the thing that we did. And it was pretty cool. And then somebody in the guild came on and said, I don't know who, but somebody from the guild said that they didn't like something that was going on and told the guild leaders, who didn't even play anymore, that we had destroyed the fun family feeling to the guild because all we did was log into raid. And you know, I never saw that. I didn't get it. And but that's what they said. And so the leaders came back on, and they're like, all right, you guys are gonna stop raiding because some people in the guild of over 120 people didn't like raiding, and so you're gonna go back to doing small raids instead of these high-end, only people on the server managing to kill this boss mob by yourselves kind of thing. So our guild split apart, and I went with the raiders because that's what I like to do. And then oh yeah, I forgot I got my sledgehammer. So then that guild basically just stepped right back into what we had been doing. Killing stuff, because that's what we do. And, well, then there's this contested dragon mob. Contested means that lots of people are trying for it. And if you've never played something that has contested mobs. And so there were these super powerful weapons in the game called epic weapons. And dude, I don't want your bloated, slimy body laying on my new house. And so the guild set up, or was going to take out this dragon so that one of our main healers could get their epic. And the gotcha. The I wasn't there for it, but the story went that there was already a group there attempting to do it, and rules are first person to do it gets it, not we call dibs. But we were a nice guild, so I thought. And so our guys are like, all right, we will wait for you to attempt it, and then if you fail, then we'll step in and do it, because it's something we had done before and wouldn't have any problems doing. Not me, because I wasn't there. So they were so afraid that we were going to do it that they attacked the first form of the dragon and then sent a guy who was too fast for it to catch to run around the server, or run around the zone, I guess they were in. And we had a necromancer, alright, we had a wizard guy, I guess, who was in the area, and he was really good. Like, won server competitions against the necromancers, and was like one of the top people in his class. So when they pulled this first level of the dragon across him, it turned and attacked him, and so he turned and killed it. Which usually takes a raid to do, but he was really good. And so after he killed it, well, that meant that the dragon form would spawn or appear, and so the group who was so worried that we were going to steal it were still sitting in the spot where it was going to appear, and it did, and it killed them. Because they weren't ready, and so our guild helped them get their people back alive and told them they could take another chance since their pull didn't happen, which is really nice of our guild. And so they buffed them all up, and they tried again, and they failed. And so then our guys stepped in, pulled it, killed it. And then the leaders who were on at the time decided that instead of giving it to our cleric, they would give it to that guild's cleric. Which, of course, incensed the cleric, because this is like a thing you wait 7 days to happen, and if somebody else gets there first, then you have to wait another 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, I want one more row here. And so they gave it to that other guy, and I couldn't believe it when I heard. And so one of our main healers left the guild because of that, and right then and there. And so he took part of our raid force with him, because they weren't gonna. I mean, you know, they were loyal to the guy, and so they left, which left us without a full raid force. And so we reformed after that, again, for the second time. And then now remember, this is all a story about why I quit playing EverQuest 1. So then we went and formed again, and we started raiding again, albeit with a much smaller force than we had access to before. But we were still completing things and killing bosses, so you know, we we were building back up from that, and then I log in one day to the game, and the guild's gone. And so I start going down the list of people from the guild, and I found one that was on, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, oh, well, the guild's been disbanded. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, apparently the person who was the leader of the guild, because the person who was the leader of the guild said they were never going to go through the council thing again, because we'd already been screwed over twice by having a council in charge, and so if we wanted to join the new guild, we had to follow a single leader. And so this woman, who was our leader, apparently decided that this was a good way for her to get the gear she needed to join one of the higher level guilds, that she had applied in secret and been told that she couldn't join until she had better gear. And so she used us to get her better gear, and then when she had her better gear, she disbanded the guild. Which kind of left me out in the middle of nowhere because I didn't have friends outside the guild, really. I knew a couple of guys in other guilds, and so I applied to the guild that was like one step above us, and they were doing things that we hadn't got to yet, and but I was geared good enough to do what they were doing, just you know, the rest of my guild hadn't been to that point. And at the same time that this happened, EverQuest was doing some overhauls on their coding, and one of the overhauls they went with was, alright, we got a platform, was an overhaul to the coding of the network system. And so, alright, I wanna... What would... I apparently don't have the recipes for... like better walls? I don't know how to do the better walls. Are they upgrades to my wooden frames? What is that? Is that a deer? Or is that a zombie that needs to be punched in the face? I heard water splashing. What was it? That was a pig. Alright. But so I went and started raiding with these other guys. And I guess we'll just go with wooden walls until I figure this out. And they were cool and everything. You know, they weren't that different from the group I was with. And so I remember they agreed that I could apply. I mean, you had to apply. Like I said, being in a guild was a big thing. It still is, I guess. But since they were so they're a hardcore raiding guild, basically, and raided multiple times during the day, multiple days a week kind of thing. I was a college student. I didn't have anything to do but go to class and raid. And so I remember the one day, the first day they agreed to take me on raid with them, I raided for 16 hours straight. Like, I ate dinner in front of my computer while I was raiding. It was crazy. So they liked what they saw. They were impressed by how well I played my character. And so they asked me to go on another raid. And they took me to a place I'd never been to. which is one of the places everybody wanted to go to. And the day before the raid, they brought down the whole game. The EverQuest brought down the game to upload their new network code. And one of the things that I had done was they had a setting called server. I don't remember what this setting was called, but what it basically was that I only received network messages, game messages that I specified. And since I was on really bad dial-up at the time, I had it set that the only messages I got were the ones that involved my guy, and so I didn't get the guy standing next to me does this amount of damage or takes this amount of damage. I only got the you do this amount of damage, you take this amount of damage, that kind of thing. Well, they took that ability out of the code because they had streamlined the code that they didn't see a point for it. And so what would happen is every time they pulled a dragon, as soon as they pulled the dragon, I would get kicked from the game because my dial-up could not handle the sheer amount of information that was flowing. And so after about 4 or 5, maybe 10 times of this happening, I finally messaged the guy who agreed that or who told me that I would probably get in the guild, that I couldn't play because I just kept getting kicked from the game and my internet wasn't good enough to pick it up, and I didn't want to be a burden on the raid. I didn't want to go, link dead every time they pull the dragon and not be there to lend aid. And he's like, no, just stick with us and, we'll get you geared up. And I'm like, well, my internet's never going to get any better. There was simply nothing in my area other than that dial-up, and so that was it. I logged off and posted a message thanking them for their time, and that was the end of my EverQuest career. Which is probably a good thing because I spent so much time playing that game. So much time. But it was fun. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it. Don't have a bunch of jars. I need to get some water. I'm out of water. But, yeah, so I had to give up EverQuest 1. And I wasn't even going to play EverQuest 2, and then my friend, the one who watched as kids, he's like, oh dude, you gotta play EverQuest 2 with me when it comes out. And I'm like, alright, but I'm not gonna get into it like I did before, because that was just too much. And so he's like, yeah, we won't get into it as much. And so we didn't. I didn't anyways. I know he got really into it though, like taking days off work for things, which is something I've never done. And I wouldn't take days off work so that I could play a video game. Sorry. It's work. You're supposed to go work. I don't know. It just seems weird. I'm not saying that it's wrong or anything. It's just not something I would do. I don't usually, like the job I have now, I don't know. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say here, I guess. There aren't, no, I am going the wrong way. You don't really take days off because we don't work every day. And so, when there's work, you work. When there's not work, well, then you get the day off. There's not really a, oh, I think I'm going to take a week off. There's more, alright, we're not going to work for a week. Alright, well then I get a week off. And I like it the way it is because it gives me lots of free time. Although I could use a bigger paycheck, but who couldn't? Alright, I think I'm gonna end the episode here. I'm gonna go make some water here. And maybe, I don't know, I gotta go back to work this week. I've had the last couple weeks off, so I gonna be back to work this week. It's not a lot of work, but it will be working some this week, and then Wednesdays, of course, are super busy, and so that's the day I have to spend most of my time working. I'm actually put in some work already this week, but wood. Did I turn all my wood into planks? I thought I had, like... No, right here. So I know Wednesday I won't get a chance to play at all. And... what are you doing? Nothing. And, so that would be Thursday would be the probably the day I film for the next for Friday's episodes. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I'd really like to get some work done on that house though, or base or whatever you want to call it. And I'm probably gonna be moving my stuff out there too. But should be fun. I'm excited to see some of the new building stuff here because I haven't played with it in so long. So, all right, click like if you like, subscribe, be sure and catch the next one, and I will talk to you later.